I never imagined my mom's 60th birthday bash would turn into a full-on SWAT standoff, complete with assault rifles pointed at our piñata, all because one entitled busybody couldn't handle a little reggaeton bumping from the speakers. The cops burst through the gate like we were hosting a cartel meetup, barking orders to get down, while Grandma Ethel clutched her rosary and Dad's beer slipped from his hand, shattering on the patio like our illusions of neighborly peace. But here's the kicker. Karen Whitaker, our HOA's iron-fisted CEO and self-proclaimed guardian of suburban silence, didn't just call in a noise complaint. She flat-out lied to 911, claiming we were armed and dangerous. And in that split second, as blue lights flashed across her smug face, peeking from behind her curtains, I knew this war she'd started was about to end with her in cuffs. It was a perfect Saturday in Maplewood Estates, that cookie-cutter slice of American dream in suburban Ohio, where every lawn's manicured to military specs and the air smells like fresh-cut grass mixed with quiet desperation. Mom had been battling breast cancer for 2 years, chemo, radiation, the works, and we'd scraped together every penny from my gig economy hustles and Dad's overtime at the auto plant to throw her the party she deserved. Balloons bobbed like defiant middle fingers against the overcast sky that miraculously cleared just for us, and the backyard hummed with the kind of chaos only family can muster. Cousins from Cleveland piling in with coolers of craft IPAs, Tio Ramon firing up the grill with ribs slathered in his secret adobo sauce, and a playlist I'd curated on Spotify. Everything from Stevie Wonder to Bad Bunny to keep the vibe electric. Me? I'm Jake Harlan, 32, the black sheep son who traded a desk job for freelance graphic design and a beat-up Ford F-150 that barely passes emissions. I'd been the one holding down the fort while Mom recovered, dodging bill collectors and Karen's endless stream of violation notices. Yeah, her, Karen Whitaker. Picture a step-forward wife who'd mainlined Red Bull and Fox News. Mid-50s, bottle blonde bob that never moved in a gale, always in those power suits like she was about to close a merger on the PDA. As CEO of Whitaker Consulting, some vague firm that optimized efficiencies for mid-sized core, she lorded over our HOA like it was her personal fiefdom. Fines for unapproved bird feeders, passive-aggressive emails about aesthetic harmony when Dad parked his truck crooked. We nicknamed her the Enforcer after she once towed a widow's Prius for being visually disruptive. The party kicked off at noon, sun high and forgiving. Mom, bald-headed and radiant in her new sundress, danced her first slow sway with Dad to Ain't No Mountain High Enough, her laughter bubbling like champagne. 30 guests strong, neighbors who'd braved Karen's reign of terror, plus my old college buddies who'd driven down from Columbus. We kept it low-key at first. Salads tossed with feta and olives, kids finger-painting on butcher paper, Uncle Mike regaling everyone with his one-time and nom stories that were 90% embellished. But as the afternoon wore on, the energy cranked up. Someone cranked the volume on the Bluetooth speaker. Nothing insane, maybe 75 decibels, like a lively diner on a Friday night. Bad Bunny's TT Me Pregunto thumped, hips swayed, and for the first time in forever, Mom looked like the invincible woman who'd raised us solo through Dad's deployments. That's when the first warning shot came. A sharp rap on the side gate, like knuckles on a coffin lid. I wiped hot sauce from my hands and cracked it open, expecting the delivery guy with more ice. Nope. There stood Karen, aviators perched on her nose, clipboard in one manicured hand, the other balled into a fist that screamed passive aggression. Jacob, she drawled, my full name a weapon she wielded like a gavel. This cacophony is in direct violation of Article 7, Section 4B of the Covenants. Noise levels exceeding 60 decibels post 10 a.m. on weekends require prior board approval. Her lips pursed like she'd sucked a lemon, eyes darting past me to the offensive scene. Tia Sophia leading a conga line, complete with whoops and accidental elbow jabs. I forced a grin, the kind you plaster on for door-to-door salesmen. We shrug it off. Classic Karen, right? The party's too short for her BS. But 20 minutes later, as Mom cut the cake, a towering tres leches frosted with edible flowers, the air shifted. A low whine at first, Then the unmistakable wail of sirens slicing through the suburbs like a bad omen. Tires screeched at the cul-de-sac, doors slamming, and suddenly our gate flew open with a bang that sent a flock of sparrows exploding from the oaks. Police! Hands where we can see him. Everyone down. Time froze. My heart jackhammered as 4 cops in tactical vests stormed in, one with his Glock half drawn, scanning the grill like it was a pipe bomb. Uncle Mike hit the deck spilling his plate of ribs, kids screamed and scattered under the picnic table, and Mom, God Mom, just stood there, knife midair over the cake, her eyes wide as saucers. What the? Officers, this is a party. Dad bellowed, shielding her instinctively. The lead cop, a burly guy named Ramirez with a mustache that screamed "Nom vet," zeroed in on me. We got a 911 call. Active shooter situation, possible hostages. Mom. He nodded at Karen, who materialized from her backyard like a vulture, arms crossed, chin high. That's her. The Harlans, always trouble. I heard threats, saw what looked like weapons. Weapons? The damn piñata stick? It hit me then, a red-hot poker in my gut. She'd escalated. Not just a complaint, a full-blown hoax. Ramirez's radio crackled, his partner murmuring into it, and slowly, the tension uncoiled. No guns, no threats, just a piñata broom and a lot of bewildered faces. But the damage? Irreversible. Mom's smile cracked, tears welling as she whispered, "Jake, I just wanted one good day." Guests milled awkwardly, some slipping out with mumbled excuses, the playlist silenced like a guilty confession. Karen hovered at the fence, her satisfaction curdling into something sharper when Ramirez turned to her. "Ma'am, you said armed intruders? This looks like a family cookout." She doubled down, voice pitching high with that fake concern white women weaponize so well. "Officer, you don't understand. These people, they're renters half the time, no respect for property values." I saw shadows, heard yelling. It sounded like a fight. Renters? We'd owned this split level since '98, paid off the mortgage last year. Lies stacked on lies, her eyes flicking to me with that predatory gleam, like she'd finally cornered the rat. I could have let it slide, swallow the humiliation for Mom's sake. But as Ramirez pulled her aside for a statement, his partner handing out waters to the hostages and chuckling at the candy-strewn grass, something snapped. This wasn't the first time. Last summer, she'd reported our illegal structure, Dad's tool shed, for blocking her feng shui view. Before that, anonymous tips to child services over a barbecue smell that might indicate neglect. And the kicker? 2 years back, when Mom's chemo made her forget to water the petunias, Karen anonymously petitioned the board to fine us into foreclosure. Betrayal burned deeper because I tried playing nice, volunteering for her bake sales, even designing her firm's logo pro bono when she sweet-talked me at the block party. "You're so talented, Jacob. Don't waste it on freelancing," she'd cooed, all while plotting our eviction. No more. As the cops wrapped up, Ramirez shooting Karen a side-eye that said, "Ladies off her rocker," I slipped inside, phone in hand. Time to document. I fired off text to the HOA group chat, screenshots of the violation log she'd buried, emails where she'd admitted to stretching interpretations for the greater good. Then the big gun, a quick scroll through the county dispatch logs online. Public record, baby. Her call time-stamped, audio requestable. By dusk, as the last guest hugged Mom goodbye with promises of rain checks, I'd uploaded the whole saga to Nextdoor, TikTok, and that subreddit for petty neighbor revenge. r/fuckHOAs. Hashtag Karen911fail. Views ticked up fast, neighbors piling on with their own horror stories, from her finding a vet for emotional support chickens to doxing a single dad's playdates. That night, over cold pizza and Mom's quiet tears, Dad clapped my shoulder. "You did good, son. But be careful. She's connected." Connected? Yeah, to every board member she'd bought with catered lunches and veiled threats. But the internet? That's democracy's equalizer. By morning, my post had 50K views, comments exploding, sue her ass. False reports are felonies in Ohio. Local news sniffed it out. Channel 5's Neighborhood Nightmares segment begging for an interview. Karen's fortress cracked. I could hear her pacing next door, phone glued to her ear, damage control and overdrive. Little did she know, I was just warming up. Revenge isn't a sprint. It's a marathon of receipts, and I've been hoarding them like a doomsday prepper. The real fun? Digging into Whitaker Consulting skeletons. A quick LinkedIn stalk revealed disgruntled ex-employees, Glassdoor reviews dripping with toxic micromanager shade. One anonymous tip line later, and I was crowdsourcing. Anyone got dirt? The floodgates opened. Turns out, our HO, a tyrant, had a side hustle in consulting that skirted ethics, padding invoices for city contracts, strong-arming small biz owners into partnerships that smelled like kickbacks. Week 1 post-incident, she tried counterpunching. A cease and desist from her lawyer, some bottom-feeder firm in Dayton, demanding I retract the defamatory posts or face litigation for emotional distress. Emotional distress? From the woman who'd turned my mom's milestone into a raid? I laughed, forwarding it to my followers, now at 10K, with the caption, "Karen's tears are my confetti." Who's got her number? Donations poured in for a Harlan legal fund. Not that we needed it. Pro bono attorneys from the ACLU's free speech wing were lining up, smelling a First Amendment feast. Mom, bless her, worried. "Jake, hatred eats you up inside. Let karma handle it." But karma's lazy. I was the accelerator. Part 2 of Operation Piñata Payback, the board meeting. Our HOA's quarterly circus, usually a snoozer in the community center with folding chairs and bad coffee. Not this time. I showed up early, projector in tow, slides prepped like a TED Talk on steroids. Evidence of abuse of power. How one board member weaponized bylaws for personal vendettas. Screenshots, timestamps, even body cam footage from the cops. I'd FOA'd. Karen's voice tinny and hysterical. "They're going to kill someone, hurry." The room filled with the usual suspects. Retirees clutching agendas. Young families eyeing exits. Karen swept in last, power suit starched, flanked by her 2 lapdog VPs. Her smile was glass, sharp, ready to shatter. "Jacob, this is highly inappropriate. The board will handle internal matters." But I was already clicking through. Slide 3, her email chain strong-arming a landscaper into unpaid donations. Gasps rippled. Old Mr. Patel, who'd lost his azaleas to her weed ordinance, stood first. "I've had enough. Resign, Karen, or we vote no confidence." It devolved into glorious chaos. Neighbors I'd never spoken to unloaded years of bile. The Christmas lights ban that killed holiday spirit. The pool fee hikes she funneled to her efficiency audits. Karen sputtered, red-faced, jabbing her pen like a stiletto. "This is libel. You're all complicit in destroying our community's value." Value? Her property flip schemes exposed in slide 7, buying foreclosures on the cheap via insider tips, then jacking assessments to force sales. The vote was unanimous, 22-1. Her abstention, the lone holdout. Ousted, her empire crumbling. But she wasn't done fighting dirty. That night, my truck's tires slashed in the driveway, subtle, with a note. Noise isn't the only violation. Cops? Useless. No prints, no cams. Mom begged me to stop, but the beast was loose. I went nuclear, partnered with a podcaster, Suburban Siege, who dropped a 3-parter on Karen's reign. Episode 2, interviews with her ex-hubby's mistress, spilling on the affair that tanked their marriage, and the alimony she dodged by consulting cash under the table. Listeners ate it up. Sponsors bailed on Whitaker Consulting overnight. By month 2, the dominoes toppled. County auditor's office got an anonymous packet. Me, naturally, flagging her firm's IRS discrepancies. Raids followed. Agents in windbreakers combing her home office while she wailed from the porch. Neighbors gawking like it was a reality show. Mom's party had been the spark. This was the inferno. And the false report? That cherry on top. Ohio Statute 2921.32. Inducing panic via hoax calls, misdemeanor first offense. But with priors? Felony territory. DA's office called me in. Ramirez's testimony sealed it. She knew it was BS, Harlan. Wanted a show. Court day arrived under a freak spring snow. The courthouse steps slick as Karen's lies. She pleaded not guilty, all pearl-clutching victimhood in a Chanel suit that screamed, "I sue people for fun." Her lawyer spun yarns of miscommunication, but the 911 tape played like a greatest hits. Gunshots. They're firing. Over laughter and happy birthday. The judge, a no-nonsense black woman who'd grown up in public housing, didn't flinch. "Ma'am, your privilege ends where public resources begin." Guilty. 6 months probation, 200 hours community service, at the local shelter, not your country club, and restitution. $5,000 to the Harlan family for emotional damages. The gavel cracked like thunder. Karen crumpled, mascara rivers, as deputies let her out. No cuffs, yet, but the headlines blared. HOA hell. CEO's 911 stunt backfires spectacularly. Our street threw an impromptu block party that night. No playlist needed. The cheers were music enough. Mom danced with me under string lights, whispering, "You gave me more than a birthday, Jake. You gave us justice." But revenge? It's a hollow crown. As Karen slunk away, tail between legs, selling her house at a loss to escape the stairs, I caught her eye once. Across the moving van, boxes labeled fragile, ego. No triumph, just pity. She'd built her life on control, and I dismantled it thread by thread. Mom's cancer taught me joy's fleeting. Karen's fall showed power's illusion. We sold our place too, traded HOA chains for a quirky bungalow downtown. No rules, just us. Laughter echoes freer now. But sometimes in quiet moments, I wonder, did I win, or just become a monster she always saw? Wait, no, that pity? Bullshit. It curdled fast. 2 weeks post-sentencing, Karen's apology landed in our mailbox. A perfumed card, all Hallmark regret, promising closure over coffee at the country club. "Let's bury the hatchet, Jacob." For the neighborhood. Buried hatchet. More like her trying to bury me in legal fees. I burned it in the fire pit, ashes scattering like her credibility. But she wasn't slinking off quietly. Whispers hit the wind. She'd lawyered up again, this time suing the HOA board for wrongful termination, naming me as a co-conspirator. Emotional distress, again. The nerve. I doubled down on the digital front. My TikTok series, Karen Chronicles, went viral, stitching her court footage public domain, suckers, with dramatic reenactments. Me in a blonde wig, hamming up her 911 call while confetti cannons mimicked gunfire. 2 million views, brand deals rolling in from security cams and noise-canceling apps. Protect your peace from petty Karens. Mom rolled her eyes but secretly binge-watched, chuckling at my over-the-top monologues. Dad? He built a Karen Kage in the garage, a mock pillory from PVC pipes where we'd pose X's or bill collectors for laughs. Catharsis, Harlan style. Her countersuit hearing was a circus. County courtroom packed with true crime junkies. Phones hidden, but live tweeting every eye roll. Karen took the stand, voice quivering like a Lifetime movie. They targeted me, a single woman post-divorce, for standing up to chaos. Single? Her estranged hubby was very much alive, very much suing her for fraud in family court. The judge shut that down quick. "Ms. Whitaker, your claims read like fanfic. Dismissed. And a restraining order. Stay 500 feet from the plaintiffs." Boom. Her lawyer slunk out, tail tucked, while I high-fived the ACLU shark who'd volunteered. Freedom tasted like craft beer at the local dive, toasting with the neighbors she'd alienated. Mr. Patel bought a round. Tia Sophia baked empanadas. To the piñata that broke the camel's back. But under the glow, unease simmered. Karen's house sat empty, for sale sign crooked in the yard. Rumors swirling she'd decamped to Florida. Golf carts and gated grudges waiting. Good riddance? Maybe. Yet my notifications buzzed with hate mail. Her flying monkeys, sock puppets decrying me as vindictive millennial scum. One even doxed Mom's chemo fund, calling it a scam. I traced it, Boomer IP from Boca. Round 3. That's when I pivoted to legacy. No more petty jabs. Time for systemic smackdown. I crowdfunded a nonprofit, HOA Watchdogs, arming renters and owners with templates for bylaws reform, apps to log violations in real time. Boarded with ex-victims, the vet with the chickens, the single dad, even a whistleblower from her firm. Our first win, Maplewood's covenants overhaul. No more noise Nazis, pet amnesty, transparent fines. Karen's name? Blacklisted from every HOA in the county, courtesy of a viral petition. Summer hit, and Mom scans came back clean, remission baby. We road-tripped the Great Lakes, windows down, Springsteen blasting. No fences, no fines, used hiraisen. But karma's got a long memory. Fall brought the hammer. IRS audit on Whitaker Consulting. Leaks hit the press. Millions in unreported income, funneled through Shell LLCs for her lifestyle maintenance. Indictment followed. Tax evasion, wire fraud. Her Florida hideout rated live on CNN. Pearls scattering as feds zip-tied her wrists. This time, cuffs for real. I was just surviving, she sobbed to reporters, but the tape rolled. Boardroom audio of her barking. Cook the books. Efficiencies demanded. Schadenfreude. Ice cream on a burn. I watched from our new porch, sipping black coffee, as her empire evaporated. Consulting firm dissolved, assets seized. That McMansion auction for pennies to a queer couple with a flock of rescue ducks. Poetic. Her trial was tabloid gold. Ex-employees testifying to burnout cultures, coerced overtime, the works. Jury deliberated an hour. 5 years federal, plus restitution to victims, including us, a cool $50K check that funded Mom's dream greenhouse. But the bitter twist? In her allocution, eyes locked on the camera. On me, she knew, I did it for order. You all crave it, even if you fight it. Chills. Was she right? My watchdogs grew, but so did the trolls, the burnout. Mom noticed. Jake, you're fighting ghosts now. She was Karen's ghost, entitlement specter, haunting every suburb. We donated her check to a women's shelter, breaking the cycle. Winter blanketed Ohio in white, parties hushed by snow. Our first snowman, top-hatted with a tiny clipboard, labeled Frozen Karen. Laughter echoed, pure. She'd lost everything. We'd gained a voice. Bitter end? For her, yes. Rotting in minimum security, penning memoirs no one reads. For me? Sweet, with a chaser of caution. Revenge rebuilds, but scars linger. Mom's 61st? Whisper quiet, intimate. No sirens needed. Peace is the loudest victory. Yet, as spring thawed, a letter arrived, postmark Leavenworth. Karen scrawl, you won the battle, Jacob. But war's end in ruins. Enclosed? A photo. Her in orange, smiling faintly. Defiance. I framed it in the garage beside the Karen Kage. Reminder. Monsters were neighbors' faces. And payback? It's never done. Ruins? She'd know. Her war left scorched earth. But I wasn't picking through ashes. I was planting flags. Watchdogs exploded. Chapters in Detroit, Phoenix, even a pilot in Toronto. Turns out Karens are international. My keynote at the National Tenants Union? Standing ovation for From Piñata to Power. Reclaiming our yards. Publishers circled. Book deal inked. The noise that toppled an empire. Ghost-written, but soul mine. Mom-proof chapters, pencil in hand. Too much salt on the wound, Mijo. Let readers taste the honey too. Honey? Scarce in the fallout. Karen's devotees. Those HOA holdouts clinging to covenants like life rafts. Sued watchdogs for inciting discord. Frivolous. Tossed in summary judgment. But the legal grind wore grooves. Sleepless nights, scrolling cease and desists. Paranoia spiking at every knock. Was it her from behind bars? Conjugal visits with a burner phone? Paranoia peaked when my truck, new one, cherry red, got keyed. HOA forever, etched deep. Cops shrugged. Suburban vandalism, kid. Happens. It did, but not to me. Not anymore. I installed cams, Ring knockoff sponsored by our app, and went proactive. Community forums, spot the sabotage, threads, crowdsourcing tips on spotting fake fines. One win. A Milwaukee mom dodging eviction thanks to our template letter. Her thank you baked goods? Better than royalties. But the mirror cracked. Friends drifted. You're obsessed, Jake. It's eating you. Even Dad, beer in hand. She's gone, son. Live. Live? Easier preached. Mom's greenhouse bloomed. Tomatoes fat as softballs. Herbs scenting the air like hope. We'd garden side by side, her hand steady now, mine fidgeting with dirt. Revenge was your fertilizer, she'd say, but growth needs sun. Profound, mom style. I tried. Dates with a barista named Lena, hikes in the Hocking Hills, playlist sans drama anthems. But Karen's ghost whispered, order or chaos, pick. Chaos called louder. Her trial appeals dragged, headline cycling. Disgraced CEO claims bias. Bias? The jury'd been diverse. Latina forewoman, gay alternate, mirroring the suburb she'd protected. Her lawyer's Hail Mary. PTSD from the piñata raid. Laughter in the gallery. Judge's gavel silenced it. Denied. But in a deposition leak, she named names. Mine chief. Harlan orchestrated a mob. Witch hunt. Which? Bot. Gala. I sued for defamation. Small claims. Symbolic. Won a buck and an injunction. No more mentions. Symbolism soured when Lena bailed. You're still fighting her, Jake. In your sleep talk. Ouch. Therapy followed, subsidized by book advances. A soft-spoken shrink named Dr. Ruiz unpacking the betrayal. She wasn't just a neighbor. She was your unmet need for approval. Twisted. Approval? From a woman who'd praise my logos while plotting our ruin? Layers peeled. Dad's absentee GI years. Mom's illness stealing my 20s. Karen became the villain I could punch. Punch back, I did. Watchdogs Gala. Black tie in a reclaimed HOA clubhouse. Survivors sharing stages. The chicken vet roasted S. Mores with her flock. Single dad debuted his app for co-parent playdates. Toast to resilience. But midway, a crash. Protester in a HOA pride tea, hurling pies. Anarchists ruining America. Security, ex-cops from Ramirez's precinct, hauled him out. Pie in my lap. Chocolate silk fitting. News spun it. HOA wars escalate. Karen's doing? Her inmate letters hinted. Supporters everywhere. Everywhere, yeah. Backlash brewed. Op-eds in the Dispatch decrying anti-property radicals. Fox segments on millennial mob rule. My mentions? Slurs and death wishes. One night, eggs splattered our door. Yolk dripping like tears. Mom cleaned it, silent. Enough, Jake. She's one if you break. Break? I teetered. Pivot came unexpected. Karen's stroke. Prison healthcare's a joke. She collapsed in the yard, DOA to medbay. Coma, then partial recovery. Slurred speech, wheelchair-bound. Her memoir dropped via ghostwriter. Silenced. A woman's fight for decency. Pulped in weeks. Reviews savage. Victim porn. But a chapter gutted me. On loneliness. I built walls to keep chaos out, but forgot to leave a door. Humanity? Fleeting. I visited, against advice, through plexi at visitation. Her eyes milky. Jacob. Sorry. For the party. Sorry. For the lie, the raid, the years. Forgive, she rasped. Tempting mom's son, therapy's bomb. But no, not yet. Earn it. Left her staring at the wall, my reflection fading. Outside, air crisp. I drove home windows down, wind scouring clean. Watchdog évolved, harmonie herbe, médiating dispute sans fin. First case, our old street, dueling dogwalkers, resolved over coffee. Success bred copycats, national buzz. Book hit NYT list, briefly, funding expansions. Lena? Circled back, coffee tentative. Heard you humanize the monster. Did I? Maybe. Mom's 62nd. Greenhouse picnic, string lights twinkling. No invites beyond kin, intimate as roots. Cake under stars, wishes whispered. Karen's card arrived, scrawled aid assisted. Happy. From ruins, flowers. Enclosed seeds, petunias. I planted them, watched sprout. Bitter? Faded to tannic like old wine. Yet in quiet, her war echoes. Suburbs simmer. New Karen's rising. My fight? Perpetual. But now with allies, son. Ruins rebuild stronger, I know. Stronger, sure, but strength's a grind, not a gift. Watch Dogs National Launch packed DC's Convention Center. Suits and sneakers mingling. Keynote's thumping bass over legalese. I keynote last, projector humming. From one backyard brawl to borderless belonging. Crowd roared. Activists, attorneys, a senator's aide scribbling notes. Backstage, champagne fizzed. Lena squeezed my hand, her barista shift swapped for this whirlwind. Proud, she murmured. Proud? Felt like imposter syndrome in loafers. Launch Afterglow crashed hard. Back in Ohio, inbox avalanche. Threats veiled as concerns. Your organization's undermining property rights. Expect pushback. Signed, Citizen for Community Standards. Karen Spawn? No doubt. Their first salvo? Ballot initiatives in red-leaning burbs. HOA empowerment acts. Mandating stricter noise ordinances, pet limits. Modeled on Maplewood's old bylaws. Her fingerprints smudged. Counter-campaign. Our app's petition tool. Viral videos of empowerment horror stories. Polls flipped. Voters tired of tyrants. But personal toll mounted. Book tour. Airports blurring into one sterile hum. Signings where fans gushed. You slayed my Karen. And hecklers spat. Commie. Exhaustion hit like flu. Canceled a Philly stop. Holed up in a Radisson. Scrolling her prison updates. Released early. Good behavior. Health woes. Paroled to a halfway house in Akron. Low profile, they said. Bull. Tabloids tailed. Fallen queen rises? Photos. Her frail, flanked by a support group of ex-board cronies. Collision inevitable. Our paths crossed at a neutral site. Mediation summit on suburban governance. Ironic as hell. Organizers begged my panel. She was reformed voice. Room tense, mic's hot. Moderator. Karen, reflections? She wheeled up. Voice steadier. I was wrong. Controls illusion. Jake showed me. Showed? Polite golf claps. My turn. Reform's not redemption. It's reckoning. Q&A ignited. Her defending necessary structures. Me dismantling with data. HOAs inflating insurance 30%. Evicting 40% more low-income families. Sparring sharp but civil. Post-panel. Her handshake limp. Seeds growing. Petunias. Thriving. Nodded. Truce? Truce shattered overnight. Her Reform Tell-All podcast dropped. Beyond the noise, ghosted spin blaming cultural clashes for the raid. Me? Well-meaning, but misguided. Misguided? The 911 lie misremembered. Lena fumed. Block her, Jake. Ghosts don't get grace. Blocked, but damage viral. Her fans resurrecting justice for Karen. Watch Dogs donations dipped 15%. Board meeting emergency. Refocus on wins. Not her. Wins? Piled, actually. Ohio legislature tabled her cronies' bills. Our model bylaws adopted in 20 states. A Philly chapter ousted a board midterm, installing term limits. Mom's greenhouse. Community hub now. Yoga mornings, seed swaps evenings. She led a class. Resilience roots. Attendees? Neighbors old and new. Fences forgotten. Carenes parole? Rocky. Halfway house beef. Curfew violations. Entitled attitude. Revoked. Back inside. Irony's encore. Her final letter. Ruins taught me. Build bridges, not walls. Bridges? Too late. I donated to inmate literacy. Her memoir, proceeds, funneled away. Year 3 post-party. Mom's all-clear party redux. Backyard reborn. No piñata, but lanterns floating like fireflies. Guests? Watch Dogs crew. Lena's folks. Even Ramirez with his mustache trimmed. Toast to survival. Cancer, cuffs, chaos. Laughter unbound. Playlist mellow. Nora Jones weaving through talks. Midway. Alert buzzed. Karen's passing. Heart attack, solitary. No service. Ashes scattered per will. At Maplewoods Lake, for closure. Closure? Her war ended. Mine evolved. Eulogies online mixed. Victims venomous, enablers elegiac. Me? Silence. Planted more petunias, blooming defiant. Lena and I? Engaged under those same oaks, rings simple as vows. To noise that builds, she toasted. Kids came, 2. Rowdy with questions. Daddy, tell the Karen story. Spun sanitized. Once a loud party saved our home. Truth layered beneath. Watchdogs. Empire Now. Nonprofit behemoth. Lobbying Capitol Hill. I stepped back. Executive director title, but days in the greenhouse, hands dirty. Mom, graying gracefully. You tilled the soil, me Joe. Now harvest. Harvest? Abundant. Suburbs softening. Community gardens over gates. Block parties sans permits. Karen's bitter end? Catalyst. Mine? Continuum. Joy's rhythm. Revenge's echo faint. Yet in dawn's quiet, her words linger. Wars end in ruins. Not ours. We built gardens from gravel, laughter from lies. And if another calls 911 on happiness, we'll answer with open gates. The end? Nah, just a hook for tomorrow's tale.